The Week 11 Bombs edition of the Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Promo code BOMBS. Get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing football, college football, and the NFL. With Rhythm, get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamepodcast.com/RITHMM. And now with that, we'll start the show with the theme song, and we'll get it as soon as I find it when I scroll and I look down here. Here it goes. Welcome to the Bottom Line Bobs. I am your host, the Laddie Zaddy, the Bet Detective, Deli Roll, the Bombino Scumbagger. Vance in a minute in the box. Yes, I welcome. It is Thursday, November 14th. Noon from Eagle Rock, California, as we bring you Week 11 Bomb Edition and Thursday Night Football. We got Thursday Night Football tonight, Eagles Commanders. 5 more for the contest. Trying to run off our 4-1 week of last week. I went Survivor, the road to $500,000. I got a man in the box segment at the end. So much to get through that we got to hurry up. Got to hurry up. No time. No time for my rambling around and forgetting where buttons are and how sentences work, how it's finished. Because we have to cook the books. Book cooking. I just cut a clip this morning about what the books needs and all that. That's why that's in my head, book cooks. But yeah, let me recap real quick before I get into Thursday Night Football. If you are watching on X, I appreciate it. I suggest you hop on over to the YouTube where you can watch me live. And I mean, you can watch me live on X too, but you can join the chat room and enter the comments. You can enrage me. You can engage me. You can minimum wage me. You can be like Justin McElvey says, bombs, what's good? You get a bomb, Justin. What is good? Let me talk about Monday night was the Rams game. We had the over. We did not hit. We did not hit that. We did not get an anytime touchdown from Demarcus Robinson because the Rams didn't have any time touchdowns at all. No touchdowns at any time did the Rams score. Thanks a lot, Rams. But I was at the game. I was at SoFi. Amazing stadium. Our seats were wide. That was nice, comfortable. It's weird. You realize their football. It doesn't even feel like a football game is going on. I mean, it's a great place. Food and the lights and everything like that, and the laser shows and the music. It almost feels like it's filmed in front of a live studio audience, like it's a big TV production. It's a TV studio, really. There was an injury. It's a bizarre injury where they put up on the. I mean, the scoreboard is amazing. It goes all the way around. So no matter where you're sitting, you'll be able to look at something. Look at the inside of the scoreboard, the outside of the scoreboard, whatever. But they did a weird thing where it was, injury on the field. Cart was out. Everyone's taking it. It wasn't taking a knee. It wasn't paralysis, but it was, it stopped the game for a long time. And then they have a huge thing on the scoreboard that says injury on the field. Like, all right, tone it down, SoFi. And then there's a merengue band playing, which I'm all for, But imagine tearing your ACL and you're looking up with doctors around you. You look straight up and you see an injury on the field. And everyone else is taking their selfies because now, hey, the game stopped. Let's get our pictures done. And that's what we did. It's bizarre. John Robinson died that night. Famous coach of the Rams, famous coach of USC when USC was popular. He was one of those old coaches that stayed in one city. He also coached UNLV, but that's pretty much the same city. They don't make those anymore, the city coaches. I'm staying in one city no matter what. College, high school, pro, whatever. I'm never leaving Los Angeles. All right, maybe I'll go to Vegas just to sunset my career. But I thought the Rams missed a golden opportunity because he's a Rams legend, John Robinson. And the Los Angeles Rams is a proud organization, but it's also a team that left for a long time. So when they show like St. Louis Rams highlights, like, we don't really buy into the Marshall Faulk stuff. Kurt Warner for crying out loud. But I think they did miss an opportunity, you know? Because I was getting texts like, oh, John Robinson died. I'm like, oh, I wonder if the Rams are going to mention it at the game. What they missed the opportunity of, which is very rare in modern times, is to break news to a mass amount of people. It's hard to do that with everyone with phones, you know? I mean, obviously, if it's not going to be something huge like 9/11 or something where everyone's going to know about it. But something like this, or even John Robinson, because he's an older man who died. I mean, you know, it wasn't the most shocking death. He was 89 years old. It's not like when Kobe died, I should say that. When Kobe died, news is getting out there no matter what. It's going to be on your phone. So this one, they had the opportunity to break it. Like, Rams fans, we want to bow our heads, moment of silence for our own legend, John Robinson died. And then you would have heard the collective gasp, you know? What? And that's a rare chance to do that. Back in the day, before the internet, before phones, smartphones, that would happen a lot. Somebody would have to break the news to a mass amount of people. Growing up in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area, as I have my Eagles hat on, I'll get into the Eagles tonight. I remember when Jerome Brown died, legendary Eagle player. Reggie White was like giving a sermon. I think it might have been at a Veteran Stadium. It was like at a football stadium with like 60,000 people, one of those like super church things. And Reggie White was giving a sermon because he's a minister. And he just found out that Jerome Brown died. And then he said it in his sermon to a football stadium full of people. And there was this crazy gasps. And, you know, obviously he doesn't know how to say. It's his good friend who just passed away in a car accident. He's like, they phrase it all clunky, you know. He's like, and I just learned a good, great Eagle, good friend, Jerome Brown killed. What? Jesus. What the fuck? I thought you were talking about Cain and Abel. Jerome Brown killed? Yes. Constituents. So anyway, I'm just saying opportunity lost by Los Angeles there. They could have done that. They could have broke us about John Robinson. R.I.P. to John Robinson. Anyway, if you haven't downloaded the SGPN app, you're missing out. SGPN app gives you access to all the podcasts on the network and the picks pages in one convenient app. Plus, like all our content, and the app is completely free. Type in SGPN in your app store to download it today. All right, let's get to this Thursday night football game, which is not on Fox, but I got to do the Amazon Music. That's right. Hey, DJ Ronnie Pascal in the house, says John Robinson. Never forget. What other city coaches have there been? I was thinking about that. Jim Tressel. He was like Ohio through and through. You know, he came up through the ranks through Ohio. You just don't get that too often. Anyway, let's get to the Philadelphia Dirty Bird Eagles versus the Washington Commanders tonight, Thursday Night Football. The line is now 4. It was 3.5. I'm looking at mybookie.ag, and it is 4-49 is the total. If you can see, I have my big dumb Italian patch Eagles hat, and I have my Taylor Swift Eagles shirt. That was a gift from Etsy. I guess it's a Taylor Swift lyric with my Eagles shirt hanging on the door. So it's a very niche audience for people that get this shirt. You have to know Taylor Swift lyrics, and it's not like a famous lyric. I mean, I guess they're all famous if you're Taylor Swift, and an Eagles shirt. Before she started hooking up with the wrong Kelsey, she was an Eagles fan because her dad's an Eagles fan. But that's neither here nor there. We'll have to wait till she does one of her classic breakups. Anyway, yeah, this shirt doesn't hit the rotation too much, but it was a gift. Women like it. Tess, Sean's wife, actually spotted it, and she's like, "Oh, I got to get one of those too." So she got one, and I did her podcast yesterday. Check out the Tess podcast. It's like Science Bio or something like that. I forget what it's called. Anyway, check out Tess Barker, her podcast. I was a guest on it yesterday. We talked about Dan Aykroyd's love of aliens. Anyway, so she got the shirts. We're rocking the Taylor Swift the Bird shirt. They laying 4 tonight. Now, should be a good game. No one knew it was going to be a good Thursday night game, but it should be. Commanders are playing great. They've lost 2 out of 3, though. Is Jaden Daniels hitting a rookie wall? Is he 100% healthy? The Eagles are 0-6 against the spread at home. They do not like to cover. They are not trustworthy. Why? Because Sirianni is a dumb Italian. That's why I'm rocking my Italian hat. Now, I can say that, degenerates, because I hate Italians. But he does. He goes for 2. He goes for he goes for 4th and 5. Then he kicks a 70-yard field goal. There's no rhyme or reason to his Italian head. And there's a lot of anti-Italian slurs during an Eagles game coming out of my mouth because of Sirianni coaching decisions. And God bless him. I know he's a good family man and all that stuff. And, he does win games. We're a little too hard on him. But he doesn't cover the spread. And great teams cover. Now, 49 is high. I get why it's high. But the Eagles defense has been playing great. I kind of really like the under here. Divisional game. I do think A.J. Brown should eat tonight, of course. Let's get in some props. There's A.J. Brown gets over 80 yards every game he plays. And the secondary of Washington is not good. Lattimore's not playing. He should do whatever he wants, A.J. Brown. I like his anytime touchdown at plus 130. That's not a bad shot. But as far as ladders, and we like to do we like to do our ladders here, see Generous. Let me lock in. There are a couple guys I like in the ladders. Now, for anytime touchdowns like A.J. Brown, I like Brian Robinson on Washington side. Brian Robinson's back. I think Brian Robinson does have a good game for Washington. I mean, they'll be able to do something. I'm taking Philly -4 tonight, too, by the way. I'll bomb that, too. I'll bomb the under 49, Philly -4. One of the reasons why Thursday night games are tricky, and when you have a rookie quarterback, rookie coach, now Dan Quinn's a lifelong players coach, but it's also a tough situation, and the Thursday night games seem to favor the home team. Just because this is a normal Sunday to one at Washington, and you get that many points, I'd take the points with Washington. But I like Philly in the Thursday night situation. Now, I don't trust Sirianni to cover it. So there's a couple over unders. Let's take a couple prop bombs real quick, and then we'll move on to and then I'll get into the ladders. 3 guys I'm focusing in on. Dallas Goedert. His total is 33.5 receiving yards. He just came back. We're bombing that over. He just came back, and now he is very important for the Philadelphia offense. Like A.J. Brown, of course, and Devontae Smith, wow, they shall lead against that secondary. But let's not – when I go ladders, I like to get a small number and then rock that up. So Dallas go there, 33 yards. That's where you start off the ground floor. Then we'll jump a few rungs. 54 yards is plus 170. 64 yards plus 236. I mean, this guy, he can, and I'm not saying he's going to break off like big. He's not going to like Devontae Smith can break a 50-yard bomb, but he picks up big, solid third down plays. And he had a nice game last week. 10, 15-yard chunks. Next thing you know, he's got 75 yards, 79 yards in a game that they're going to have to keep pushing the pace. And Philly doesn't have to push the pace in a while because they've been blowing out teams, including Cincinnati. Like this game, I think that we'll have to continue to score to outpace Washington. 74 yards plus 330, and then 84 yards plus 469. Oh my goodness. This is on mybookie.ag. I mean, it keeps on going. I recommend not just splitting up one unit. I wouldn't go too crazy with the ladder because it gets a little rickety up here, when you start window washing. And you don't want to look down below. But if you want to get that kitty out of the tree, 94 yards for Dallas Goedert, plus 675. Now, if you want to do a couple revenge angles, there's 2 revenge angles tonight. You have Zach Ertz, the Eagles legend, Mr. Julia herself, coming back. He's been a big part of Washington's offense. Zach Ertz I really like. His over-under is 35.5. I want to take Zach Ertz getting a hero's welcome back in Philadelphia. Philadelphia loves him. He will not get the J.D. Drew treatment. And then there's a sneaky one now too. You have Johan Dotson, whose over-under is 8.5. Jahan Dotson, however you pronounce it. He had a couple grabs last week. He's starting to step up. Now, with this Washington secondary, for a team that literally traded him, Zach Ertz had to go, whatever. He's free agent, all that stuff. Jahan Dotson, they literally traded him, said, get out of here. And to be honest, quite frankly, Washington's been right. They kind of pulled one over on us on that one. But Dotson just needs one catch. You know he's going to demand the ball to get one catch versus Washington. 8.5. I love that. You couldn't even run that ladder. Bomb it. Let me take a look at the Dotson ladder, actually. That might be something we want to hit. Maybe that's better than the Zach Ertz. Let's take a look. See if they got something beautiful for us. Okay. 29 yards is plus 210. 39 yards plus 343. Oh, boy. I mean, this thing tops off. Are you ready for this, degenerates? Are you ready to take that Molly and take the beanstalk all the way up through the clouds? We're going above the clouds. Jahan Dotson, beanstalk, and this is all the way to the top. 79 yards is plus 33.84 on mybookie.com. Good Lord. Jesus, that's a ladder for you. But I like the Dallas Goedert ladder. I'll sprinkle a few on the top of the Dotson ladder just in case, but definitely ground it. He's going over 8.5 in a revenge game, and I like Zach Ertz over there. So those are three bombs I like: Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson. I haven't pronounced any of those names correctly. I also like the Eagles, and I like the under. Those are 5 plays I just gave out. There we go. Justin says, "You goddamn right, you get those ladders out for you." And I am the laddie daddy for all you degenerates. I don't tell you guys that. I am the laddie daddy. I didn't create the ladder bets. I'm not saying I did that. But I was a pioneer. Let me go back wide. In creating ladder content on the gambling Twitter world. Not just ladder emojis, stickers, props. I would bring out the ladders. I would put the cats in a tree. I would do the whole thing. And then, of course, as always, people just take your idea and, you know. Oh, did someone else do that too? Oh, I liked it, so I took it. People don't care about intellectual property. Anyway, I was saying all these numbers can be found on MyBookie. And we're brought to you now by MyBookie now.ag. SGPN started out with MyBookie, and now we're back. Check out the new and improved website, great on mobile, plus props for every game and a live dealer casino. Even new early cash out options. A bet I like on MyBookie? Well, we'll just take it. Under 49 for tonight's Eagles-Commanders game. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Listen to this, degenerates. This is great. I have an account on MyBookie because of this. 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. I used it. Why not? I mean, 100% deposit. Put that in today. I mean, it's basically a free bet. All right, let's get into the Circa Millions. I need different music. I'm just playing whatever the fuck's on Sean and Ryan's soundboard. Look at that. That's Lock Dog T's music. We're not doing that because we're doing 5 Circa Million Contest bombs for NFL Week 11. I just gave you a full slate of Thursday night action to hold you over. Now let's get into the weekend. We went 4-1 last week. The new quarter started. So this is where we can actually get some money. We got to get started. We got 3 more weeks to go. We need a 5-0 week. We need it. Has to happen. There's too many people that go 5-0. You cannot let them see you sweat. I doubt that. I doubt any of you guys get that reference. That's an older reference. Although who knows? I think my fan base is just like me. Old and sad and male. Anyway, here we go. 4-1 last week. Let's start right off with this game. Not going to be a great game to watch, but it's definitely intriguing. Jets versus the Colts. Line is Jets -4. Now, why are the Jets laying 4 to anyone? Is the question you first see when you see this line. They are horrible. They went from having a bad coach to having no coach. They got the brakes beat off them in Arizona. They stink. And it's not just their offense. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. Their defense is horrible. Arizona ran up and down the field on them. So why are they giving 4 points at home? Well, enter the Indianapolis Colts, who are going through a hilarious quarterback carousel between my man Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson. And I like Anthony Richardson. Nothing against Anthony Richardson. AR-15. He is a project that they drafted. He was doing terrible. How terrible? Completing 40% terrible. 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Terrible. That's terrible. In today's NFL, it's almost impossible to complete only 40% of your passes. He was a detriment to the team, and they were 4-4. They had a chance to make the playoffs. Flacco, like I said, he's the free bird. He comes to your town for a couple weeks, he cranks things up, and then he leaves. And that's what he did in Indianapolis. He came off the bench. He got you some wins. He had a great game in Jacksonville. He beat the Steelers, for crying out loud. I'm sorry. That not enough for you, Indianapolis fans? I'm still mad about them booing Flacco last week. Now, granted, Flacco's been terrible. He deserves to be benched as well. But so did Anthony Richardson. And I get why Colts fans didn't want Richardson benched, because he's their future. You want to see what he can do. But I can also understand why Colts players didn't want to see him play, because they'll win. They don't give a shit about the future, because they know the company doesn't care about them. So now Richardson comes back. And why? Sean Steichen, who I also don't like, although I wouldn't mind him calling plays again for the Eagles. Part of the brat coach era, Sean Steichen. He was hilarious. He's like, yeah, we're benching Richardson. We're putting in Flacco because he gives us the best chance to win. And then Flacco bombed out for a couple games. And then he had a meeting with the owner, old drunk ass Irsay. Then he has a press conference, and then straight up has to lie to us. There's nothing better than when the boss says something to you, then you have to take the blame for the boss. And everyone knows it. So reporters are asking questions. So, Coach, seems like you had a change of heart, huh? That's interesting. So did it have to do with Flacco's play? Is that why we're going back to Rich? No, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. No, he's still, because you said he gives us the best chance to win. Is that no longer the case there? No. He helps us win for sure. But, after talking to the owner, we decided maybe we'll play the guy that we invested $100 million to in the first round pick. We decided that. Oh, is that what we decided, Coach? Or is that what your boss decided? And now you have to fucking do the blame. Gillette never let him see you sweat. You're right, Justin. Good. Glad to hear it, degenerates. So now Steichen has to act like Richardson gives him the best chance to win, which, who knows, maybe he does. The way Flacco was playing, they both were bad. Same level bad. But like I said, it's not Flacco's fault. Flacco needs to leave town. Flacco should be in Chicago right now fixing that situation, or New York. He needs to crank a fan base up, but he can only stay for a couple weeks at a time. Then he's got to hit the road, baby. Sorry, money on the dresser. I'm Joe Flacco. Who knows where I go, where the Flacco may roam, wherever Flacco may roam. Maybe I should play that. I need to play. I need to play more music. I've been told that, especially by DJ Ronnie Pasco. Should I crank that up? Nah, I won't do that. Yeah, let me play that. Buford T. Justice, welcome to the chat. He says, Indy's such a great town. Top 3 of all time, rolled out. Then next guy just quit. And they booed a quarterback. Come on. I know. I love Indianapolis is a great town. A lot of great small Midwest cities. I love them, to be honest with you. God damn, I can't type. I should have these things ready to go. Wherever Flacco roams, there we go. Listen, you don't boo Joe Flacco. I've already brought this up. Joe Flacco wasn't the problem. You're the problem. If you think Joe Flacco's the problem's with you. You know what Flacco did? Like I said, he's a fatherly man. He grew. He didn't want to hurt Anthony Richardson's ego. He could have lit it up. So they still would have lost games. They weren't going to beat Buffalo no matter what he did. So he made Richardson-style mistakes. Yeah, I won't check down. I'll throw it deep. Why not? I'll throw an interception. I'll throw a pick six. That way, Richardson's head will still be in the game when he comes back down the road. But now I've done what I had to do. Caleb, here I come. Wherever Flacco may roam. I gotta go. All right, that's enough of that. So, will they be better with Richardson this week? I doubt it. Will they be better than the Jets? Again, who knows? The Jets are bad. I think the Jets will bounce back. The Jets still are a little bit delusional that they could do something. And in the AFC, that number 7 spot is technically still wide open. Miami can still get it 3 wins. The Jets have 3 wins. They can still get that 7 spot. Although we all know their season's over. But this is exactly the game that the Jets would win and cover, where Aaron Rodgers will get his idiot believers believing again. It's kind of sad watching him go on Pat McAfee's show now because he still has to do that weekly segment. He's getting paid $1 million for it, and he talks his conspiracy theories now, but no one's watching anymore. No one gives a shit. Like when those clips come on my timeline, like Aaron Rodgers thinks the Sudan is in a fucking Bermuda Triangle, and it isn't real, and there's a glitch in the Matrix. Also, they can make the playoffs. Who gives a fuck? I don't care what Aaron Rodgers thinks anymore. So he's still saying these crazy conspiracy theories, but no one's hearing it because they're not winning. It's like those last days of the Glenn Beck show on Fox News. Back when he was still on Fox News and he had his night talk show, and he was the number 1 show before Bill O'Reilly and all that. The Glenn Beck show. Now, listen, I'm not a Fox News guy, nor am I on that side, but I did used to enjoy the Glenn Beck show because he was funny. I think he used to be a comic too. He would have a red phone, and he'd act like he's calling the president, like he'd act like he was in a nuclear bunker, like no one else could hear him. He was fucking hilarious. Talking about the world ending, like it was a talk show. But then he said something ridiculous, and all the sponsors left him. So he's still doing it, but then no one would watch, and the downfall of his career happened. I used to host a show, The Visitor's Locker Room, was a sports comedy podcast way back in the day. And we tried to get an advertisement on the Glenn Beck show during that final weeks because you could buy advertisement for like $300. That's back when you would just like advertising for gold and shit like that because all the real companies left them. So it's like, buy gold. And now John Oliver does that, where he bought at Space on their shows and all that. We were the pioneers. We were going to have our own bowl game. And fucking Barstool stole that. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. Just like my ladder material. This is how I'm going to die. Talking about all the bits that were stolen from me. We raised money for this advertisement by putting money on a Kentucky Derby horse too, but it's still locked up in PayPal, I think. Because Megan Gailey, great comic, great comedian, our Indianapolis Colts insider. Speaking of the Colts, she was an intern at the time, and she set up the account and she put it under nonprofit, so we couldn't get the money back out. Which was just because we didn't make a profit doesn't mean we were nonprofit. I mean, we were for profit. We were for the idea of profit. All for the concept of profit. We just didn't make a profit. Yeah, there was no profits coming in. So yeah, technically we weren't nonprofit. But also, no, we're all for profit. Give me, if there's profits there, give it to us. Anyways, that never happened. Point is, that was a good time. It was the days Glenn Beck. That's what Aaron Rodgers seems like. So we're going to go with the Jets to do a nonsensical win over Anthony Richardson and the Colts, -4, bomb the Jets. Champy, welcome to the chat. He says the Cardinals are the most talented offensive team in the NFL. I'll tell you what, it's hard to go against. Those Cardinals look amazing right now. They're hot. It's a shame they're on a bye this week because no one wants to play Arizona right now. You're right. Maybe the Jets just went into a fucking buzzsaw that is Arizona. Boo for T says the next quarterback to beat the Jets should thank the vaccine he took pregame. I heard a theory. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is sabotaging the Jets because the owner, Woody Johnson, is of Johnson & Johnson, one of the biggest vaccine companies or backers. So he's going in from the inside. I like that theory. Either way, they're going to cover. All right, let's move on. Game number 2, we have Cleveland and the Saints. Speaking of dumb Italians, we mentioned Sirianni and Big Dom and me. I'm part Italian. My mom was Italian. Although growing up, we were told not to acknowledge that side of our family. Our Irish did not approve of that, meaning my dad. Anyway, point is, they have an intern coach, Darren Rizzi. And we were on the Saints last week. The old intern coach bump. We always loved that. They fired the head coach Dennis down. Then they bring in the intern coach. Everyone rallies around it. Everyone gets excited. They usually like him. He's a player's guy. But more importantly, they're happy the old boss is gone. We've all been in a job where who's not going to be excited when the old boss gets fired and going to love their new boss? They don't care who he is. They just care that he's not the old guy. And so they beat Atlanta at home. Amazing. We were on top of that. We took the 3.5, but we won on the money line as well. Now reality comes in. Now they play the Cleveland Browns at home, and they made the Saints 1-point favorite. What? The Saints are favored now? Did we not forget what they just did the last 2 months before last week? Besides losing to Carolina? They're terrible. And they're very banged up. Olave, I mean, yes, they do have Derek Carr back, and that helps a lot. But they don't have Olave. They don't have, Jamal Williams. They don't have Rashid Shaheed. They have Marquez Valdez. You want me to believe Marquez Valdez-Scantling knows how to catch a football all of a sudden? Because he caught 2 bombs for touchdowns last. I mean, congratulations. Everyone stepped up for the old boss, same as the new boss. Should I play that song? Cleveland Browns coming off of a bye. Cleveland fans will be all over New Orleans. You got to give New Orleans that. Speaking of great cities, New Orleans is a fantastic city. It's a great tourist city, of course. Everyone goes down there to have fun, and there's a lot of fun to be had in New Orleans. But they know how to handle the fun. They know how to handle tourists. So Clevelanders are going there. They're going to throw up. They're going to, and then they come and they hose them down. They hose down Bourbon Street. If you ever been to Bourbon Street, I highly recommend it. The best is you get out of there like 5 a.m., you're going back to your hotel, and then you see those street sweepers, and they just fucking hose the street downhill, and all the vile vomit, party favors, and syringes just go down to the 4th Ward or whatever the hell it goes. And you're like, good Lord, look at that. That's a Thursday night right there. Oh, my God. So Cleveland will be down there. They'll be having a good time. New Orleans will be having a good time. Who will not be is Darren Rizzi. The stories about him clogging a toilet won't be as acute when reality sets in, and that's actually having to coach a football team. He's a special teams guy, for Christ's sakes. Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, off of a bye. I think I'm going to give him the advantage. Jameis Winston, revenge game. Now, is that good or is that bad when it comes to Jameis Winston? Because he's a lunatic. I love Jameis Winston. Who doesn't? Someone also said online that all his speeches seem like he's auditioning for a role in a movie that's never going to be made. Because he always sounds so put off. But Jameis Winston, revenge game. I got to love this. Cleveland in the dome, off of a bye. Get ready to eat that W or whatever else fucking cornball shit he says to a depleted Saints team. Let's do it. Cleveland Browns +1 is bomb number 2. Buford T says, got a friend headed to New Orleans in a few hours now. Virgil, welcome. Says, what's happening in the box, EJ? Well, you're welcome. This is what's going to happen in the box. We're giving out bombs. So yeah, Winston in the Bible Belt, sure thing. Your buddy going to New Orleans. There's nothing going better than going to New Orleans for a weekend, and it's letting loose in the French Quarters. You got to stay. I like venturing off a little bit. You get off Bourbon Street and go to some of those areas, the Sean Penn areas, the Katrina areas. You can find some real shit going on. Some of the best bars you'll ever meet, they buy you. Don't get involved in their lives. Don't mess them up. But yeah, they're Fats dominoes, if you will. Speaking of visitors' locker room, one of the famous stories I used to tell on there was during Katrina, and this is a true story. Fats Domino is related to Jamarcus Russell, LSU legend, number 1 overall pick, bust in the NFL. But anyway, he was great for LSU. And Russell was going to LSU when that happened during Katrina. And Fats Domino was riding a storm out, was drifting away, and Russell saved him, pulled him out, and had him live in his dorm room. Imagine that. Jamarcus Russell and Fats Domino in the same fucking dorm room all semester during Katrina. That must have been a hell of a time. Getting their books mixed up, By accident, Domino gets LSU's playbook. And then Jamarcus Russell goes to practice, and he pulls out of his bag Fats' big, fat, black book of big, black facts. That's a tongue twister from famous visitors locker room tongue twister. Anyway, so we're on the Jets -4, Cleveland +1. All right, let me oh man, this time is drifting. Let me tell you quick about Underdog. I already told you about my bookie. Let me tell you about Underdog. Where is it? Where is the thing? There we go. Underdog. If you're not playing Underdog, you should. I play Underdog. I'll play it tonight. It's a way to play fantasy for actual money. It's got one of the biggest menus. NFL, college football, basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, well, you name it. You can cross sports, you can do whatever you want. But you can use specials and boosts on flexed entries. Sign up with promo code BOMBS to claim your special pick. First time deposit up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code BOMBS. And you go higher and lower. I already said it. I'm doing high. I'm doing Dallas Goedert higher than 36.5. I'm doing Zach Ertz higher than 33.5. And we're doing Dotson higher than 8.5. That's an Underdog. Can't miss with that one. Can't miss. Well, how could that possibly go wrong? Right? Let's also do rhythm. Let me also tell you about rhythm. I might as well. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to custom predictive betting models in seconds. Who doesn't love a betting model like me? I'm your betting model. Mr. Man in the Box. Get predictions for betting on money line spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model. Copy one of the models. Copy mine. Make your own. Copy one of theirs. Now, you can track props in the Rhythm app. NFL picks, NFL props, college football, basketball, NBA. Rhythm has it all. Claim your 7-day free trial day by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan, telling you about the Rhythm's Gonna Bet You. Rhythm's Gonna Bet You. Rhythm's Gonna Bet You with props. The Laddie Daddy, the Deli Llama, or Deli Roll. Scumbagger Vance, but obviously the man in the box. Thank you for watching on the YouTube, because the chat room is lit up. As always, C-Generates are filing in. I love it. I love it. So continue to hit thumbs up on the YouTube page, because that helps the algorithm. Tell your phone that I love my phone, and your phones love this phone, and that's how these bombs go. All right. Of course, you can tell files and friends. You can follow me. Oh, did I not put the banner up here? Good God. Glad I could start my things going on. Get my head together 40 minutes into the show. Tell you to follow myself on X at CJ Sullivan _ or on Instagram, CJ Sullivan was taken with underscores in between each words. You get my comedy dates, you get things like that. Yeah, smash that like button eventually. That's right. I am giving it Stephen A. Welcome to the chat. And everyone, welcome to the chat. Is Dotson even in the starting lot? Revenge angle. It is a revenge angle, Virgil, on Dotson. But his over-under is 8.5. We don't need much. You just need one catch. And he had a couple last week. He's been had the week before. He's starting to slowly come along in the Philadelphia offense. He's the third wide receiver. He is their wide receiver number 3. So at 8.5, revenge angle. We got a Zach Ertz revenge angle. Dallas Goedert. I love all three of them. if you're just joining us live, we're on Philly, we're on the under, we're on Dallas Goedert ladder, we're on a Dotson ladder, and we're on Zach Ertz, all the over receiving yards. And now we're giving out the Circa Millions. We're on Jets -4. We're on Cleveland +1. Now let's get into some of the big games, the actual games we want to watch. We'll start off with Baltimore-Pittsburgh. A classic AFC North rivalry. These two just don't like each other. No love is lost when the Steelers and the Ravens fight each other. Patrick Queen. I mean, granted, these two really don't like each other. This is legit. The line is Baltimore -3, which is kind of shocking to me because usually this line is 2.5 no matter what. No matter how good these teams are or bad these teams are, it's always 2.5. Because it's a brawl. It's a rock fight. These are two brothers. These are two drunk brothers at the end of the night fighting each other, and the mom's yelling, "Mom, get out of here! You two get out of the kitchen!" And then the brothers look at your mom like, "What? What are you mad about? What are we doing? We're just fighting. It's what we do. We don't, Yeah, your brother stabbed me. It's what happens. I don't see what the big deal is." They fight, and they don't like when the league steps in, starts to discipline them. What are we doing? This is what we do. We're Ravens and Steelers. We fucking hate each other. But we also respect each other. They do respect each other. They're very similar teams. Now, Mike Tomlin as an underdog, it seems like that's been the narrative I've been hearing in the gambling Twitter. Very good. Mike Tomlin as an underdog, very good. Just last week, it seems like an autoplay. Versus Washington, they were underdog. They won outright. Russell Wilson moonballs. Now, that's a thing. To be quite frank, I think the hype on Steelers are getting a little too much. The Baltimore Ravens are clearly one of the best teams in football. Clearly. All the advanced metrics, I mean, it's not even close. The Steelers are good. They're playing a little over their heads. Russell Wilson is playing over his head. Their opponents haven't been the best. We'll just put it at that. I'm not overly impressed with a Monday night home win versus the Jets. Very good win at Washington last week, absolutely. And I like the Steelers. I'm not playing the Steelers, but I think the Baltimore Ravens off a Thursday night game now, so they have 10 days full rest coming into Pittsburgh. A game, now their defense looks bad. Now Burrow lit them up, but Burrow's playing at an unworldly level right now. I don't think Russell Wilson is playing at an unworldly level. He's throwing his moon balls. That's another world. But I like how they're just glancing this over like this is an actual thing. A moon ball is not a thing. This never was a thing. Oh, there's that patented Russell Wilson moon ball. You can't stop that. A moon ball just means a 50-50 up for grabs ball. Now, granted, George Pickens and now you have Mike Williams, two receivers that you would like to have on the other end of a moon ball. But a moon ball is not sustainable. It's not something you can rely upon. You don't call that in the huddle. All right, let the blitz get through our terrible offensive line. I'll go off my back foot and I'll just launch up a moon ball. Pickens, you act like Spider-Man and do some freakish athletic thing and catch a touchdown. What do you say? All right, on 2. So 3 is a tough number. I don't like to lay it, but I think the Ravens are clearly the better team. They have the rest advantage, which I think is huge now in today's NFL, especially with the 17-game season. It's just going to be it's just a way. It's not NBA style. I want to say that, but like you could tell when teams are banged up on short rest and some teams are well rested in a bye week, and like how much of a difference is because they're going through basic car crashes. Roddy Pass goes massive moon balls on that Russell. He does have massive moon balls. Stephen A says Broncos are paying Wilson to win in Pittsburgh. Prank. Twilight Zone. I know it is crazy. The Broncos are paying Russell Wilson to win in Pittsburgh. That's what I love too about because everyone likes Mike Tomlin as under. And listen, I'm not here to talk smack about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's great. And I know I know some Steeler fans that don't like Mike Tomlin, but I'm not one of them. One, I'm not a Steeler fan. I mean, I like Mike Tomlin. He looks like a leader. But like, oh, Mike Tomlin knew Russ had a little something in him. Russ knew he wasn't fully cooked, so he let him cook. Right? Mike Tomlin took zero chance on Russell Wilson. They're paying him $15 an hour plus tips. And Denver is footing the other bill of $270 million. It cost them nothing. They got Justin Fields. They can throw Fields in there, whatever. They're not paying these guys anything. Neither one of them is going to be their quarterback of the future. Now, he's a pro. He's a vet. He can guide it, but it's going to be a little bit different when he has to go toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson in this Baltimore offense, which is unstoppable with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. They scored 4 straight touchdowns versus the Bengals. Granted, the Bengals defense, the Steelers defense is much better than the Bengals defense, but the Steelers offense is not as good as the Bengals offense. So we're going to go with Baltimore -3. I don't care if it's a public play or not. I'm getting sick of hearing about Tomlin as a road dog, and I'm sick of moonballs. It's going to be a half a moon, lunar eclipse, if you will, in Yinzer, Pittsburgh. Go down to Pants and that. Go down to Moon and that. Go to the astronomy and that. Get into Bonneville. Shout out to Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. I have a lot of ties to Pittsburgh, but they're losing this week to Baltimore. Bomb it. All right. Speaking of the narrative, let's go to the game of the week. Buffalo versus Kansas City. Buffalo is laying 2.5. It's gone down to 2 in some shops, but I'm using the Circa contest lines 2.5. Everyone's talking about Patrick Mahomes as a dog, and I get it. They're the Chiefs. I've gone back and forth with the Chiefs. I've gone to, like, they can't keep getting away with winning, and they do. They win every week. They're undefeated, and I've been talking about these Chiefs all year. The worse they play, the more invincible they become. This year, they're doing something that they've never done before. They're playing terrible, and yet they're undefeated. The Kansas City's won in every way possible. They've scored 50 points a game. They've outgained you, whatever. Now they're like, well, we've never gone undefeated, and we've also never played awful. Let's try that. And that's what they're doing. And they come up with different luck boxes ways to win every fucking week. They beat Tampa Bay the other night at home on Monday night in overtime because Tampa Bay didn't go for 2. Then you had Cincinnati going for 2 for no reason when they could have, when they had 40 seconds left. People lose their minds when they play Kansas City. The Chargers lost their minds. Remember that 10-3 game? Then last week they blocked a field goal versus Denver. Very easily, too. It's not like it was a freak thing. Four guys jailbreak through the entire line. It looked like one of those Tecmo Bowl plays, early Tecmo Bowl plays, when you would pick the same play as your opponent, and then everyone just blitzes through the line and blows up the player. Oh, you picked run 1? You didn't have a pillow over your controller? You're fucked now. I also picked run 1. And then every single guy comes through unblocked. That's what that field goal was. I mean, they were jumping on people's shoulders. Woohoo! Who wants to block this? I didn't even know blocking field goals was still a thing. But that's how they won. So now we just assume they're going to Buffalo, and Buffalo's banged up. Dalton Kincaid's not going to be playing, which is pretty important because the opponent tight end versus Kansas City always has a field day. It's going to have to be Dawson Knox. He's got to step. He's got to bring back old Father Time, which I think he can. I'm going against the narrative here too. Everyone's auto playing Kansas City as a dog. I'm sure a lot of public's on Buffalo because you see how Kansas. I almost feel like I am when it comes to public and square and all that nonsense. I'm the scene in Princess Bride when he's deciding between the poison. Inconceivable, you know. When he's like, would a Sicilian do that? Or would I never turn your mind on a Sicilian and you would take me and you think I would drink my poison and your poison, you know, and he goes through all the different things of why he would drink his poison, one in front of him, and it's just the two sides. I'm going back and forth with this. So originally I'm like, Buffalo -2. Kansas City finally has to lose. They're playing a real opponent at Buffalo. And Buffalo does beat Kansas City, just not in the playoffs. This is a regular season game. Let's not forget that. Buffalo does beat them in the regular season. Playoff time, it gets a little tricky. So I was like, all right, originally fine. This is finally at Buffalo. Hammer it. I don't want to get the field goal. They're going to win. And then, of course, you start thinking about it. Well, There's a reason why Kansas City keeps getting away with it, because they're fucking Kansas City. And it's not just that they know how to win. I like when reporters say that. Kansas City just knows how to win. Well, yeah, okay. That's half of it. The other half is the NFL wants them to win. They get all the calls. They get that pass interference versus the Bengals because he's Patrick Mahomes. He is the league. I get it. He's the face. He's everything. And then I throw Travis Kelce in there with Taylor Swift. You can't have them angry at you. That's why I got my Taylor Swift shirt on right now. Swifters, Swift daddies, whatever you're fucking called. So then I was like, let's take Kansas City. But now I'm like, now everyone's talking about Mahomes as a dog. He's 10-1 lifetime. You can't use auto. You never give Mahomes points. So now I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck that. When everyone says that, that's when that goes wrong. Now I do realize at the end of The Princess Bride, he poisoned them both. So no matter what I take, I'm going to die. Kansas City or Buffalo, no matter who I choose. You never get in a land war and a men war with an Argentina. You never wait, what's with a Sicilian? Was that My Dinner with Andre? What was that? Buford T says, you got to respect your Tecmo Bowl opponent. You can't be side-eyeing the player two's controller. I agree with that. Also, in Super Tecmo Bowl, you couldn't be the nose guard if you had someone good, because then you just dive right at it and you sack the quarterback every time. You angle down, boom, dive. Reggie White at nose dive, boom, fumble. It was crazy. You couldn't be him. Couldn't be Lawrence Taylor. Some guys you just couldn't be. Anyway. So I'm back and forth. No matter what side we choose in this game, we're going to lose. I'm going with Buffalo at home. And here's where it comes down to. If Kansas City doesn't lose this week, when will they lose? They have to lose. As America. We've already gone through tough times this week, last couple of weeks. With the election, we got Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. So many things going on. I mean, we can't handle this. Listen, I can handle Donald Trump become president. We know what's going to happen. Almost like you listen. It happened before. It's not as shocking. It's going to be, it is what it is. I'm not moving out of the country for that. If Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, I don't know if I can handle that. Even though it's going to be a fucking rigged exhibition. But if the Kansas City Chiefs go, if you put all three of those together, if you have Donald Trump as president, Jake Paul knocking out Mike Tyson, an elderly man, and Kansas City Chiefs going undefeated, well, then I don't know what else we can do as Americans. Then there really is no hope for us as a people. So let's bomb Buffalo -2.5. Stephen A says mortgage payment on the Bills. Cheers to that. With a Tecmo Bowl avatar. I like that. Look at that. He's got the Bills avatar. I wouldn't suggest a mortgage payment on the Bills. That's for sure. I'm not that confident in them. Kansas City is the 2-time champion and undefeated, if we do forget. But I know it's something we want to win. We want to win. Buford T says everything is rigged. All right, let me fly through the other two here. Because things are getting out of hand. This show's getting creeping up on me. So far, I've given out Jets -4, Cleveland +1, Baltimore -3, Buffalo -2.5. And then we have Cincinnati Chargers at night, Sunday night. The game got flexed in. Thank God. It was going to be Jets Colts. You imagine that nightmare? Thank God it's Chargers Bengals. That's going to be a fun game out here in Los Angeles. Chargers are 2-point favorites. I think that's a bit much. The Bengals also off a large rest, 10 days off from the Thursday night game. Now, their defense is a wreck. Understandable. But Joe Burrow is playing at a just absolutely otherworldly level right now. Jamar Chase, of course, 280 yards, whatever the fuck he had the other night. I mean, they beat Baltimore. They beat Baltimore. The defense couldn't stop them. But Burrow was not outgunned by Lamar. They went for 2. They should not have, because there was 38 seconds to go, and Baltimore could have easily went down and got a field goal. Especially if they know they had to get a field goal. I don't want to get into that whole sabermetrics and shit about that. But anyway, they went for 2. 1, throw the ball to Jamar Chase, Burrow. What are you doing? 2, refs, how about we call an interference or the 5 different face masks that occurred? Point. And Burrow doesn't complain. Burrow doesn't care. Burrow is Joe Cool. And they can still make the playoffs. I think it starts this night. Justin Herbert is playing better, for sure. Quentin Johnson's helping out a little bit, but the Chargers' offense is also something I don't believe in. I think it's kind of been puffed up versus the opponents they're playing. Yeah, they played great versus the Titans last week. Congratulations. And they'll play good versus Bengals defense. But I don't know if they'll be able to outgun Joe Burrow. Now, is Harbaugh a better coach than Zach Taylor? Yeah, he is. But they're the more desperate team. And I love Harbaugh's press conferences. He's like a dad who just like, oh, I'm glad you asked that. No one asked that at Harbaugh. He told some story about about Justin Herbert carrying bricks in the offseason. That's why he didn't fumble the ball. No one asked you this, Harbaugh. What are you talking about? So let's move on. Let's just go. Bomb it. Cincinnati Bengals +2. I love the way Burrow's playing right now. You're going to give me points, NLA, a more desperate team? We'll take it. Those are 3 tough games. To recap, off our 4-1 week, Jets -4, Cleveland +1, Baltimore -3, Buffalo -2.5, Cincinnati +2. Those are our 5 Circa Contest million picks for week 11. Let's keep it going. Also have a road to 10 million, road to $500,000. It was road to 10 million. I am still in a survivor on the Bet Online account. And the first place is all winner take all, 580,000. So that's nothing to sneeze at. We had the Vikings sweat last week. We're going to go with Detroit this week. They should rock. They should roll over Jacksonville and Mac Jones. Nothing really to think about there because there's nothing to save for Thanksgiving. I was thinking about Miami, but they have a weird thing where they have a short rest off a Monday night win in LA, had to travel back cross country home, and now they got to play the Raiders. Now, granted, and it's Gardner Minshew off a 2-week rest because they had a bye. So I don't really want to mess with that. Packers is another option if you're still in one, but I also don't like divisional road dogs, even though the Bears are an absolute wreck. They changed offensive coordinators. Congratulations. That's going to give you nothing. Your offensive line is still terrible, and Caleb still holds on to the ball for about 20 seconds per snap. So I do think the Packers will win that. Maybe you'll hear about that in my Pleaser segment. That's our new segment we do with Sean and Ryan. And if you are listening, C-Generates, don't forget, after the show, right afterwards, well, a little bit of a break. We're going to have lunch for crying out loud. But then there's the NFL Prop Show on the main, on the SGPN main with Sean Kramer, stacking enough money high, real deal, money green. Sean Green, Ryan Kramer, and me, the man in the box, every week. And then, of course, the college weekend bombs down under with Picks Dundee after that. Triple header of your man in the box, the Bet Detective, CJ Sullivan. So you got me here now, the bombs. Prop show after this, and then Picks Dundee weekend bombs college show. All right. So Detroit Survivor to Ando's Circuit Contest. Now let's get into the box. And like I said, thank you for joining me. Make sure you follow. Tell 50,000 of your friends. Hit the thumbs up. Go to Spotify. Give me a 5-star review. That helps too. I'll even give you a little prox. Boofer T Justice. Thank you, everyone in the comments. Says everything is rigged. You're damn right it is. Welcome to the box. Welcome to the conspiracy box. Everything is rigged. Let's talk about that, right? Speaking of which, and stealing my ideas, I see John Gruden signed with Barstool today. Now, John Gruden's been making hilarious content recently. He's like he's made his Alex Jones turn where he's like in a basement doing highlights and just crazy yelling things. Yeah, where'd you get that idea from, John Gruden? Me? Did you ever a man in a box? Ranting about people cutting you off? That's me. That's what I do. But yeah, go ahead, John Gruden. I don't why I don't. It's weird that Barstool is going to hire someone that actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to sports. That's bizarre. That's a little dig. Anyway, like I said, I'm not jealous of their talent. I am jealous of their success. So nothing wrong with that. Everything is rigged. I talked about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. Mike Tyson, 58 years old. They do keep showing videos of him working out. He kind of looks good, but Yeah. Yeah, he looks good when he hits things. I don't know, is it moving? But your reaction times when you're an old man is a lot worse. So I don't think it's going to be good. I think Paul's just going to be able to hit him whenever he wants. Now, do I hope Mike Tyson murders him? Yes. Do I hope Jake Paul literally dies? Yeah, that'd be great. Like I said, I'm never sad when I see the headline, so-and-so YouTuber died unexpectedly. That never affects me. I was like, that's a shame, isn't it? 19-year-old YouTuber died, did he? Oh, how was it? One of those pranks? Was it a prank show? Yeah, the world didn't miss much there. He wasn't going to split the atom. He's a fucking YouTuber. So it's Mike Tyson, one of the most feared men on the planet, versus a YouTuber. Now, Jake Paul, of course, has been into fighting recently. He's kind of doing that Andy Kaufman's thing where he'll fight anyone but an actual professional boxer in his prime. He fights MMA guys. He fights fucking celebrities. And now he's fighting Mike Tyson, who's box office. It's on Netflix tomorrow night, Friday night. People will tune in. There is a line. Do I have a pick on it? I have a pick that I'm not betting on something that's rigged. And this is going to be an exhibition. The line is pretty low. Jake Paul is minus 215 on mybookie.ag. Tyson is plus 157. Over-under is 5.5. Now, if Tyson's going to win, it's going to have to happen in the first round. If this is somewhat anything real. Jake Paul also looks like he's on many a cycle for steroids. My buddy Jeff Klinger said yesterday, is steroids legal in boxing? Is it just legal? No, it's not legal in boxing per se. Sanctioned boxing. Is it legal with a YouTube prank guy putting on an event? Yeah, maybe he can do that. A guy who's famous for doing videos in a suicide garden in Japan? Yeah, sure. Yeah, he can do steroids, and he did. I'll say this about Jake Paul. And I said this before he got into this boxing. Like, he has created this character where everyone wants to see him get knocked out. Everyone hates him. And that's pretty profitable when it comes to the fight game. You'll always make money if people want to see you get hurt. And everyone wants to see him get hurt. Even if it's America's favorite rapist, Iron Mike Tyson. Food for Tea says, is there a world where Tyson throws a fight? You're goddamn right there's a world. There's a world we live in. Is there a world where Mike Tyson throws the fight for a lot of money? You're goddamn right. He used to buy fucking tigers and giraffes and golden statues, and he's been broke with all kinds of crazy fucking mansions. You tell there's not a world where Mike Tyson doesn't owe money. He's doing musical Broadways, for Christ's sakes. He's doing one-man shows. He's doing cartoons about pigeons. He needs money. You're damn right he would throw this fight. Why wouldn't he? This is not going to hurt his reputation, win or lose. No one's going to think like, oh, you got knocked out by Jake Paul. You were never tough. No one's going to think Mike Tyson was never tough. He was Mike fucking Tyson. Speaking of YouTube stars, there's not a day, there's not a month that goes by where I don't get caught in a Mike Tyson highlight film or fight YouTube wormhole. ESPN 2 played it the other night. Just played, fuck it. We're playing Mike Tyson fights. Let's go. And I'll watch it every single time. So, yeah. And in a world where everything is rigged, in the box, so I would not recommend a fight, the bet. If I was a bet, I would bet Jake Paul, to be honest with you. But that's like betting on the Cowboys, which we might do Monday night. Virgil says, go Skins tonight. You dead named them, which is fine. Fine with me. I'm not saying anything different. How about a Hurts Daniels anytime TV parlay? I don't know if and I don't know if Daniels didn't run for much last week. He's a willing runner, but if he's not, I don't like it. Jalen Hurts touchdown? Yes, for sure. That you can lock in. That's going to happen. You get that at minus 120. Yeah, I don't like Daniel. What else did I want to say in the box? Oh, this show's got to wrap up. I mean, you know what? Jake Paul does look like Glass Joe. Says one of the comments. I did see that. He does a Glass Joe. Glass Joe was Glass Joe. You can hit left, right, left. That was Don Flamenco. Don Flamenco. You go left, right, left, right, left. Woo woo, woo woo, woo woo, woo woo, and you flip in the air. Ronnie Pasco says, "I've been screwed over by so many bad Tyson pay-per-views, but I'll always watch." You're damn right. Before crack streams and meth streams and Stream East, you know, and other illegal websites that people watch games on, and like even like, who's the NFL insider for fucking ESPN? He was watching one of those sites. And LeBron was watching one of those sites. Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter like shared a highlight from a Stream East site or something, or a meth stream. Is hilarious. But before that, when you literally had to go on these, you know, dark web subreddit pages to find these links, Mike Tyson, before I knew about those at least, Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr. in a complete farce where they just jogged around and barely touched each other and got their paychecks. I watched that on a website that did irreparable permanent damage to my computer. It destroyed my computer. Like 7 different porn things came up. It was just virus after virus. Things started smoking up. It was like early computer days when you would go to an internet lab, like at Screens or something, and you would check some porn, and all of a sudden it would freeze up, and you would just get up and slide over to the next computer. Oh, that's not me. Let me just move over. Yeah, so I'll never forget. I just threw my computer in the river after that. Well, this is never coming back from the Tyson Jones thing. Anyway, let's all root for Mike Tyson to murder Glass Joe / Jake Paul. This I never say you can root for a death. You can smile at an obituary, but you can't root for a death unless it's a YouTuber. Then not the worst thing in the world. So if Jake Paul dies, if he dies, he dies. That, of course, from Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. At the Bottom Line Bombs, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. The chat room, I'll go down some of the names. You guys are so great. Virgil Bagar, of course, Ronnie Pasco, Boo for T, Stephen A, JC from KC, everyone else who came in here, Champy, who loves his Arizona Cardinals, Justin McKelvey, everyone else. Make sure you tune in, enjoy the fucking games. Why do I always say that shit? Yeah, that's going to be it for us. Let's get some wins. Let's get a 5-0, and let's have a Jake Paul death. That ought to do it. That ought to make us fucking feel good. Right? Oh, shot for the weekend. I decided I want to. If I was a reliever, I would come out to this. All right, good night.